There is very limited knowledge about Celtic gods and goddesses, because the Druid priests of the Celts would not write down their stories and existence. The stories were transmitted orally till the Romans of the 1st century BC, the Irish monks of the 6th century, and the Welsh writers wrote the traditional stories. The Celts were very spiritual, and conceived the idea of reincarnation and the journey of a soul to the afterlife beyond death. They did not consider punishing someone after death. The Celtic pantheon believed in 3 aspects of the Irish Celtic gods and goddesses, 3 aspects of a single god. The teachings of the Druids could be summarized very easily: worship the gods, be strong, brave, and do no evil. They also comprised many female deities of chief importance, ranging from war goddesses, mother goddesses, to ruling goddesses. Human sacrifices were made either with the blade, or by drowning or burning them. It was believed that a life must be sacrificed for another life, either by murder, killed by accident, tortuous illness, or to be saved from the cruelty of battle. Although this exercise was not used much at all in Ireland and Britain. Females were equal to males and deemed just as much power, and the priestesses were highly idolized. They would sing the dying men/women to sleep, performed charms and enchantments, predicted the future, had powers to heal someone, and much more. A cauldron, large pot, bowl, or pool was considered to be one of the central attributes of their groves. Curses were cast if any women were mistreated. War goddesses considered red hair females very sacred, as their hair was the color of blood. List of Celtic gods and goddesses. If we believed the ancient world, there were 2 different types of deities worshipped by the people, general and local. Across the entire Celtic world, the archaeological facts claim that there are more than 360 Celtic mythology deities. However, only about 20 occur more than once. The ancient gods and goddesses inclined to be very local, with the personal names to fit the location and the people who lived in the region. They would exist side by side with the people and were very real. They were not worshipped, but they were respected and honored. When the people in the region needed a favor, they would ask for help, and in return, they would have to make promises or offerings to them to keep them happy. A bard location, island rules over, understands the destructive nature of jealousy. Teamwork description, god of the Tuatha De Danann, performer of feats. A Caspel location, island rules over, Mabon vine harvest, Belton's blessing of the mead description, a Partholan who is credited with constructing the first tavern in Ireland, most likely was an early god of wine or mead. Akeland location, unknown rules over, sex magic description, goddess queen, whom no mortal man could sexually satisfy. So she took a giant from the fairy realm as hermit. A dank/affank location, Wales rules over, erasing an event/person/etc. from your mind, erasing unwanted thoughts so you can have a fresh start description, primordial god who created and rode the crest of the flood near his home on the Lake of Waves, and was once a deity worshipped by the people of the lake region, but who is now reduced to fairy or evil demigod. Ensalada location, Britain rules over, purification, solar magic description, goddess of hot springs who came to Brittany from Celtic Gaul. A minor sun goddess in her own right before the time when the Celts banished the majority of their sun images to male deities and their moon images to female deities. Ayrton/on location, Wales, Cornish rules over, peace, overcoming enemies description, goddess of fate who controlled over the result of war between several Celtic clans. Eson location, island rules over, unknown description, early Irish god whose name means to be. Most likely part of a lost creation myth. Eson was also known by the Persians, Umbria, and Scandinavia. Evil/Ephel location, island rules over, lust, sex magic, wisdom in making judgments description, goddess who in popular legend is a fairy, who held a midnight court to hear the debate on whether the men of their province were keeping their women sexually satisfied or not. Agrona location, Wales rules over, war, slaughter description, slaughter goddess, often equated with the Morag. Able location, island rules over, protection, music, earth magic, ecological magic description, goddess of Munster whose legends were almost lost until she was demoted to a fairy queen. Abog location, island rules over, healing, midsummer well rituals description, fire goddess who had a magic well that contained mighty healing powers, effective against toothache as long as the requester left a small white stone at the well to represent the decayed tooth. Aif/Waff location, Ireland, Scotland rules over, protection, general knowledge, teaching, path working, lessons of the threefold law description, goddess and queen of the Isle of Shadow. Amend location, Ireland, Scotland rules over, unknown description, minor sun goddess who is thought to be the daughter of the king of the region known as Corco Lloyd. Ain of Knockane location, island rules over, crops and cattle description, moon goddess who was connected with the summer solstice. Airmid location, island rules over, magic, healing, learning, herbalism, understanding family loyalty, inspiration to craftspeople description, goddess of medicine and all healing arts to the Tuatha De Danann. Albion location, unknown rules over, unknown description, son of a forgotten sea god who may have been part of a lost creation myth and was once said to rule the Celtic world. His name became the poetic name for Britain. Alisanos location, unknown rules over, fertility description, Gaulish god of stones, about whom very little is known. Probably a deity of the standing stones of Brittany. Almhigh location, island rules over, unknown description, basically all her myths are lost to us today. She was a goddess of the Tuatha De Danann, and that a hill in southern Ireland was named for her. Ambysagras/Bushmaris location, Britain rules over, weather magic, leadership description, originally from Gaul, where this Celtic identity was lost during the Roman siege where he took all the characteristics of the Roman god Jupiter. Ancasta location, unknown rules over, unknown description, a goddess who survives only in her name through a dedication on a stone in Hampshire. It is a theory she is related to Andrast. Andrast location, Britain rules over, overcoming enemies description, war goddess who was aroused on the eve of the battle to bring favor, and possibly ritual sacrifices were given to her. Angus Macog location, island rules over, youth, love, music magic, protection of lovers, dream work, creativity and beauty description, one of the Tuatha De Danann who had a golden harp that could create incredibly sweet music. He had a fairy palace on the banks of the Boyne. Anu/Anin/Katana location, island rules over, fertility, prosperity, comfort, health, cattle description, Mother Earth, great goddess, greatest of all goddesses, another aspect of the Morag. The fertility goddess, who often formed a trinity with Badban Macha. Aran/Aran location, Wales rules over, revenge, terror, war, spirit contact, picking magical names, strengthening friendships, reincarnation description, king of hell, god of An and Wn. Ruled the underground kingdom of the dead. Ard Green location, Ireland, Scotland rules over, fire magic description, father of the famed warrior sisters, Aif and Scathach. Once a sun god. Ardwin location, Britain rules over, animals, Fami lairs, woodlands description, woodland and animal goddess who stalked the forests of Ardens riding a wild boar. Ariadne location, unknown rules over, protection, magic, manifestation, time description, the only Greek goddess known to have been worshipped in Celtic Gaul. Her name is derived from the word arachnid. Arianrhod location, Wales rules over, beauty, fertility, reincarnation description, keeper of the circling silver wheel of stars, a symbol of time and karma. Mother aspect of the triple goddess and is honored at the full moon. Arnamentia location, unknown rules over, healing and purification description, goddess of spring waters who was once a minor solar deity. Artias location, unknown rules over, sheep, cattle description, god of sheep and cattle herders from Celtic Gaul. Later, the Romans identified him with Mercury. King Arthur location, Wales, Cornwall rules over. Nearly anything is said to be able to be helped by King Arthur description, most likely based on a 7th century king named Artorius, who led the fight to drive the Saxons from Britain, and later his legend was merged with that of a now forgotten father/sacrificial god. Artiolocation, unknown rules over, fertility, animals, strength, courage description, bear goddess whose shrine once stood in what is now Bern, Switzerland. She is usually depicted as being surrounded by full baskets and animals. Badb/Bad location, island rules over, life, wisdom, inspiration, enlightenment description, the cauldron of ever-producing life, war goddess and wife of Net, mother aspect of triple goddess. Also, linked with the cauldron, crows, and ravens. Bale of the honeyed speech location, island rules over, speeches, ideas, impressing someone, mental activity, speaking, love magic, protection for lovers, blessing magical wands description, god of Blarney, the speech valued in Irish culture. Banchide Jade Moir location, island rules over, childbirth description, old goddess who appears in modern Irish legends as the midwife who assisted the Christian Virgin Mary with her birth, and was also a title applied to Saint Bridget. Banba location, island rules over, repulsion of invaders description, part of a triad with Fosha and Ariu. They used magic to repel invaders. Berinthus location, Wales rules over, unknown description, charioteer to the residents of the otherworld who was most likely once a sea or sun god. Becoil location, island rules over, unknown description, goddess whose legends have been lost. Perhaps an early version of Dana. Bicuma location, island rules over, overcoming jealousy description, Tuatha goddess who ruled over magical boats and had a weakness for sleeping with high kings at Tara. Bell/Beldine location, island rules over, science, healing, hot springs, fire, success, prosperity, purification, crops vegetation, fertility, cattle description, closely connected with the Druids. His name was seen in festivals of Beltane/Beltane. Cattle were also driven through the bonfires for purification and fertility. Belisam location, unknown rules over, unknown description, goddess of the Mersey River. Beresynthia location, unknown rules over, elemental earth magic, fertility description, an earth goddess, perhaps even a local goddess. Bloodewed location, Wales rules over, protection, employment, any endeavors governed by the sun description, sun god who was associated with the sacred English hot spring known as a Caesulis. Depicted as a very virile male figure with flaming hair. Blea location, island rules over, fairy contact description, a fairy queen with a burg of her own Drumburg. Represents a personal or mascot deity to Ocean. Blathnid location, island rules over, abundance, fertility description, probably a form of the more popular Welsh goddess, Blodeuwedd. Blodeuwedd/Lodwyn location, Wales rules over, flowers, wisdom, lunar mysteries, initiations description, lily maid of Celtic initiation ceremonies. Known as the nymphal goddess of the Western Isles of Paradise. Created by Math and Gwydion as a wife for Lu. Bodhu location, island rules over, fertility, anti-hunger, prosperity description, black cow goddess who helped bring fertility to barren Ireland. Beaufind location, island rules over, fertility, anti-hunger, prosperity description, white cow. This is how she manifested long ago on the barren and fruitless mass that would become Green Ireland. Beauruid location, island rules over, fertility, anti-hunger, prosperity description, red cow goddess who helped bring fertility to barren Ireland. Bone/Boy location, island rules over, healing, fertility, water magic description, goddess of the river Boyne. Budge location, unknown rules over, war description, war goddess much like the Irish Badb. Bormanus location, unknown rules over, unknown description, thought to be one of the earliest Celtic gods. Nothing is known about him today, though he may have later surfaced as Burvo, a Breton god of hot springs. Burvo location, Britain rules over, healing description, god of hot springs who replaced his mother, Serona, in this function when her story was patriarchalized. The spring he ruled had great healing powers. Bran the Blessed / Bran MacFall location, Wales rules over, prophecy, the arts, leaders, war, the sun, music, writing description, a giant associated with ravens. Branwen / Branwen location, Manx, Wales rules over, love, beauty description, Venus of the northern seas, of the three matriarchs of Britain. Lady of the Lake. Breeza location, Wales, Cornwall rules over, name spirit contact, guidance and protection for travelers and explorers description, High King of the entire planet who made his home in the otherworld which is sometimes called High or Ibreezal in his honor. Bregan location, island rules over, unknown description, minor Celtic figure who plays a role as either the human son of Milesius or the divine father of Baal and If. Brenno's location, unknown rules over, unknown description, war god to whom the victories at Elia and Delphi were attributed. Briand location, unknown rules over, water magic description, goddess of the river which holds her name. Brigantia / Britannia location, Britain rules over, sovereignty, self-control, leadership, protection of your land, prosperity description, a goddess of sovereignty and often thought of as the Bridget of England. In 1667 Charles I had her face placed on the coinage where it remains today, reviving an old custom, first instated by the Romans who adopted her as their. Bridget / Briginda location, Ireland, Wales, Spain, France rules over, fire, fertility, the hearth, all feminine arts and crafts, martial arts, healing, physicians, agriculture, inspiration, learning, poetry, divination, prophecy, smithcraft, animal husbandry, love, witchcraft, occult knowledge description, associated with Imbolc. She had an exclusive female priesthood at Kildare and an ever-burning fire. She had 19 priestesses representing the 19-year cycle of the Celtic Great Year. Bronick location, island rules over, unknown description, crone goddess linked to forgotten Samhain rituals. Reclaim this forgotten Samhain goddess at your own seasonal rites. Carabormes location, island rules over, dreams, prophetic dreams, falling asleep, music magic description, usually thought of as a goddess of sleep and dreams and a less violent version of Mare. Cailleach location, Ireland, Scotland, Manx rules over, disease, plague, cursing, wisdom, seasonal rites, weather magic description, goddess in her destroyer aspect. Careen location, island rules over, children, protection description, once a protective mother goddess, a defender of youth and patron of children. Associated with holly leaves. Callyberry location, island rules over, weather forecasting, animal magic, ecological magic description, often equated with the Cailleach Burr of Scotland, although in Northern Irish legends, she appears as a maiden goddess, representation of spring, the hunt and guardian of animals. Campesters location, unknown rules over, fertility description, Campesters is the Roman name of a lost goddess of fields and was probably a fertility or harvest goddess in Celtic Gaul. Camulus location, unknown rules over, war description, war god from the region of Colchester which was once called by the Latin name Camilla Dunham in his honor. Canola location, island rules over, music magic, dream work, inspiration description, believed to be one of the oldest of the Irish deities. Canola was the inventor of Ireland's long-loved symbol, the harp. Calais location, island rules over, wisdom, healing, fertility description, goddess who was the guardian/queen of a magical well in County Roscommon in Western Ireland. She helped grant wishes, usually ones which taught the wishers that they didn't really want what they thought they did. Carmen location, island rules over, banishing magic description, goddess of County Wexford and source name for Loch Garman, who was once honored at Lunasid. It is believed she has roots in the Greek grain goddess, Demeter. Caramella Location, Ireland. Britain rules over, self-responsibility, reincarnation, earth magic description, local crone goddess from County Meath who was transformed into a huge snake for eating forbidden berries. Cathabadia Location, unknown rules over, war, earth magic description, occasionally seen as a Breton version of the Irish earth goddess Banba, most likely with origins in Gaul. Thought to be a war goddess who shares Badb's energies. CEBHFHIONN Location, island rules over, healing, mental powers, knowledge description, goddess of inspiration who was usually found next to the legendary well of knowledge from which she filled an endless vessel. She kept this sacred water from humans, feeling they could not handle its power. Cernunnos Location, unknown rules over, virility, fertility, animals, physical love, nature, woodlands, reincarnation, crossroads, wealth, commerce, warriors, hunt, magic, sacrifice description, the horned god, god of nature, god of the underworld. The Druids knew him as Hugadarn, the horned god of fertility. Cerridwen Location, Wales, Scotland rules over, death, fertility, regeneration, inspiration, magic, astrology, herbs, science, poetry, spells, knowledge, wisdom, past lives, divination description, moon goddess, grain goddess. Welsh bards called themselves Cherdorian, sons of Cerridwen. The bard, Taliesin, founder of their craft, was said to be born of Cerridwen and to have tasted a potent from her magic cauldron of inspiration. Cessair Location, island rules over, strength, perseverance, leadership, foresight, water magic, new beginnings description, of the race known as the Partholans who were among the first to occupy Ireland. She is the first ruler of Ireland. Well-known pre-Celtic mother goddess figure much like Dana. She led a journey of Partholans to the western edge of the world 40 days before the Great Flood. Sicilian Location, island rules over, prophecy, divination description, goddess of the Fomorians who was called Crooked Teeth. She prophesied the fall of her people to the Tuatha De Danann. Claus Holistic Location, island rules over, magic, druids description, ancient goddess of unknown function who came down to earth as a powerful witch. Probably a crone goddess. Sheen Location, island rules over, love magic description, god of medicine who went to retrieve a cow which had been stolen by Balor. Father of Lu. Son of Dionsect. Husband of Ethn. Cleodn Location, Ireland, Scotland rules over, spirit contact, appreciation, beauty, water magic description, Tuatha De Danann sea and other world goddess who usually took the form of a sea bird and therefore symbolized the Celtic afterlife. Claude Location, Scotland, England, Wales rules over, water magic description, well-known goddess and namesake of the River Clyde. The waters in which she governed were believed to be especially useful in controlling seizures. Coinkind Location, unknown rules over, spirit contact description, a semi-divine warrioress whose home was in the otherworld. Conditus Location, unknown rules over, water magic description, god of confluence whose sacred places were wherever two rivers or bodies of water met. Candwi Rama Location, Wales rules over, discovering your own feminine power, help in discovering the ancient Grail mysteries, sovereignty description, goddess of sovereignty who appears shortly in the Grail legends as the wife of Sir Percival, in which she is wedded and then bedded by Percival, who then immediately sets off for the Grail castle to which he is finally admitted. Corkin Location, Ireland, Manx past lives, earth magic, reincarnation description, ancient snake goddess about whom very little is known. She was probably once a regional Mother Earth goddess, or goddess of rebirth. Cora Location, Scotland rules over, divination, prophecy description, prophecy goddess who regularly appeared in the form of a crane. She symbolizes transcendent knowledge and transitions to the otherworld. Coventina Location, Scotland rules over time, new beginnings, life cycles, wishes, protection of birds, divination, inspiration of self-description, one of the most potent of the Celtic river goddesses. Most likely Roman in origin. She was also the goddess of featherless flying creatures, which may have symbolized some type of blockage to passing into the otherworld. Curd Location, Ireland, Scotland rules over love magic, searching for the perfect mate, keeping secrets, spirit contact description, fairy queen goddess who was associated with Dana's mountains, the Paps of Anu. She vowed never to sleep until she found a man who could create for her the most majestic poem ever penned. Cridnea Location, Ireland rules over self-defense, inspiration of artistic endeavors, blessing tools description, god of metallurgy and smithing who worked in bronze. He created all the Tuatha's weapons with the goldsmith Goibniu and the woodworker Luchtain. Creedalad Location, Wales rules over love, courage, strength of will and flowers description, connected with Belton and often called the May Queen. Goddess of summer flowers. Crivdarg Location, Ireland rules over unknown description, the Red Claw. War goddess who is possibly a form of the crone goddess of battle Badb. A Leinster fortress was named for her. Cromcruach Location, Ireland rules over harvest, dark festivals, death, passing over rituals, otherworld contact description, ancient deity about which little is known about today. Seen as a harvest, death and sacrificial god. It is thought human sacrifices were once made to him at Samhain. The Crone Location, unknown rules over unknown description, third aspect of the triple goddess. She signifies old age or death, winter, the end of all things, the waning moon, post-menstrual phases of women's lives, all destruction that comes before regeneration through her cauldron of rebirth. Krenos Location, unknown rules over unknown description, minor harvest and sun god with Greek roots who was imprisoned with his subordinate deities on a western island which could have been a land of the dead. Saihirith Location, Wales rules over water magic, passing over death, fairy contact, inner transformation description, goddess of streams who later became thought of as a fairy spirit who was a portent of death, very similar to Ireland's Beanside or Cornwall's washer at the ford. Simide Simonfo Location, Wales rules over strength, war, past lives, creative magic description, war goddess who is always paired in stories with her husband, Lasarla Sifnuide. They own a magical cauldron into which they would cast warriors killed in battle. Dawes Location, Britain rules over pleasure, courage, water and sex magic, see fairy contact description, goddess of debauchery by her detractors, while some recent legends go so far as to make her the destroyer of her own realm through her excesses and her worship of idols. The Dagged Location, Ireland rules over protection, warriors, knowledge, magic, fire, prophecy, weather, reincarnation, the arts, initiation, patron of priests, the sun, healing, regeneration, prosperity, harps, magicians, artisans, all knowledge description, High King of the Tuatha De Danann. God of death and rebirth, master of all trades, lord of perfect knowledge. Damar Location, England rules over fertility description, fertility goddess associated with Belton. Damona Location, unknown rules over fertility, abundance description, cow goddess which little is known about. Danu Location, Ireland rules over wizards, rivers, water, wells, prosperity, abundance, magic, wisdom description, major mother goddess, ancestress of the Tuatha De Danann. Darnwai Location, Wales rules over unknown description, in the Book of Taliesin, the Song of Darnwai, relates adventures of this god who does not appear elsewhere in Celtic mythology. Domators Location, Britain rules over harvest, fertility, prosperity description, mother goddesses. A triune of earth goddesses given this singular Latin name on the continent. Dectir Location, Ireland rules over Unknown description, a triplicate unto herself. This goddess throughout her myths she alternately takes on the images of maiden, mother and crone. Devon location, unknown rules over, unknown description, goddess of the rivers of Devon. Insect location, island rules over, healing, medicine, regeneration, magic, silver working description, physician magician of the Tuatha. Dill location, island rules over, fertility description, very old cattle goddess about whom nothing is known about today. She could have been a derivative of the nearly forgotten Damona of Gaul. Dispater location, unknown rules over, fertility magic description, Gaulish god, whose name means a father, was a primordial god of creation who later merged with both Don and Cernunnos. Domnu location, island rules over, leadership, seafaring contact description, goddess of the Fomorians, who are sometimes referred to as a Ferdomnan in her honor. Don/Dawn location, Ireland, Wales rules over, control of the elements, eloquence description, sometimes called a goddess and sometimes called a god. Ruled over the land of the dead. Druancha location, unknown rules over, fertility, passion, sexual activities, trees, protection, knowledge, creativity description, queen of the druids. Fur goddess. Dubloch location, island rules over, unknown description, early Irish goddess of the sea of whom little is known. Possibly another version of the druidess Dub. Donatus location, unknown rules over, protection of sacred places and hiding places during rituals description, Gaulish Celtic god of fortifications. Protector of sacred spaces. Dylan/Jonas location, Wales, Britain rules over, unknown description, guardian deity of the mouth of the River Conway. Symbol was a silver fish, son of Gwydion and Arianrod. Eden location, island rules over, creativity description, goddess of poetry who may have also been a bard. Easel location, Ireland, Manx rules over, prosperity, abundance description, god of abundance and prosperity who came into legend as king of the golden pillars. Eblan location, island rules over, fire magic description, goddess of Munster who was until recent times honored at the Midsummer Sabbath in her mountain home in County Tipperary. Et/Adi location, island rules over, unknown description, believed to be another form of Dana by some, the first great mother goddess of Ireland. Iber location, Ireland, Manx rules over, unknown description, first wife of Ossian who is described as being a yellow-haired stranger from another land. Ethan location, island rules over, beauty, fertility, reincarnation description, old goddess whose original form likely traveled with the Celts across the continent over many generations from the Middle East. Elaine location, Wales, Britain rules over, unknown description, maiden aspect of the goddess. Queen of Elfham location, Scotland rules over, death, destruction, plague, battle, otherworld, rebirth, fairy contact description, goddess of death and disease who is often equated with the Greek goddess Hecate. Eoster location, unknown rules over, Ostara, great rite, fertility of pets/livestock, new ventures, reincarnation, new life description, goddess for whom the Ostara Sabbat is named for also known as Easter. She is viewed as spring personified. Upon location, Britain, Gaul rules over, fertility, maternity, protector of horses, horse breeding, prosperity, dogs, healing springs, crops description, divine horse. Goddess of horses, mother goddess, mare. Epos Oloatur location, unknown night, dream magic, horses description, horse god often seen as either a male form of Epona or as her consort. Earth location, unknown rules over, harvest festivals, earth magic description, earth mother and harvest goddess represented by a womb or overflowing horn of plenty who is believed to be Basque in origin. Erie of the golden hair location, island rules over, creation, moon description, virgin goddess of the Tuatha De Danann. In one legend, Erie was at the bank of a river when a man in a silver boat floated down to her on a beaming ray of the sun. Ariu/Erin location, island rules over, unknown description, one of the three queens of the Tuatha De Danann and daughter of the Dagda. Essos location, Britain rules over, fertility, harvest, spirit contact, passing over rites description, harvest god worshipped in Brittany and in Gaul by the people known as the Esuvi. Thakia location, island rules over, creativity description, goddess of poetry and patron of bards. Thea location, island rules over, war description, war goddess whose root name means the hateful one. She is the subordinate deity of the Morag. Daughter of Bren Elkmar. Fincave location, island rules over, love and beauty description, minor princess among the Tuatha De Danann. Thought to be a goddess of love and beauty. Finvara location, island rules over, competitions, mental powers, fairy contact description, a strong god who became known as a fairy king of the Tuatha De Danann. Fionn Macamhill location, Ireland, Manx, Scotland rules over, wisdom, overcoming enemies, creation, protection, knowledge, divination description, legendary giant god/warrior of Ireland who foresaw the coming of the Milesians and banished an invading giant from Scotland. Flint location, island rules over, water magic, lakes description, daughter of woodland goddess Flydeus. A lake goddess who is viewed in modern folklore as an evil water fairy who lures swimmers to their death. Flydeus location, island rules over, forests, woodlands, wild things, wild beasts, shape-shifting description, she rode in a chariot drawn by deer. Ruler of wild beasts, forests, woodlands. Garble location, island rules over, ecological magic, seasonal rites involving the sacrificial god description, giantess and goddess of the hunt whose chariot was drawn by elks. Garmangebis location, Britain rules over, unknown description, goddess who was brought to Britain with the Romans and survives only through cryptic inscriptions. Gavita location, island rules over, unknown description, minor god of the forge. Guin location, Wales rules over, sovereignty description, goddess of sovereignty who held the feet of Math while he reigned. She was only exempt from doing this when he went to war. Gog location, unknown rules over, fertility description, consort of Magog. Goidniu location, Ireland, Wales rules over, blacksmiths, weapon makers, jewelry making, brewing, fire, metalworking description, one of a triad of craftsmen with Lichtain the right and Creedney the brazier. Galudi location, Wales rules over, family ties, independence description, Sow goddess, mother of Culch who ran in an insane rush to the deep woodlands to give him birth. And of King Arthur. Grain location, Ireland, Manx, Scotland rules over, herbs, knowledge, sun, fire magic description, master herbalist and sun goddess who was the daughter of King Cormac and who married Fionn Macamhill. Great Father location, unknown rules over, lord of the winter, harvest, land of the dead, the sky, animals, mountains, lust, powers of destruction, regeneration description, the horned god, the Lord. Represents the male principle of creation. Great Mother location, unknown rules over, goddess of fertility, the moon, summer, flowers, love, healing, the seas, water description, the lady. Represents the female principle of creation. Grian location, island rules over, seasonal rites, sun description, fairy goddess from County Tipperary is still thought to live in a burg beneath Palace Greenhill. Guy location, island rules over, protection description, guardian god/spirit of Brewin Aboyne and father of Eblin. Gwal ap Clud/Gwan location, Wales rules over, solar magic description, son of the goddess Clug. Thought to be a minor sun god. Gwen location, Wales rules over, unknown description, a young female who was so beautiful that almost no one could live if they gazed upon her for long. Gwydion location, Wales rules over, illusion, changes, the sky, healing, music magic, help, learning, mental powers description, Druid of the mainland gods, son of Dawn. Brother of Govannon, Arianrod and Amethon. Gwaedno location, Wales rules over. Water magic description, at one time was a sea god. Came down in legend as a monster or fury of the ocean. Gwyn a Peanut location, Wales rules over. Spirit contact, strength, passing over rituals, seasonal rites description, king of the fairies and the underworld. Gwythyr location, Wales rules over. Unknown description, opposite of Gwyn a Peanut. King of the upperworld. Habitat location, unknown rules over. Healing, seasonal rites, commemoration description, a spinning goddess who is thought to either be a goddess of spell casting or the wheel of the year, since spinning refers to them both. Habondia location, unknown rules over. Seasonal harvest rites, fertility, prosperity, earth magic description, goddess of abundance and prosperity who was later demoted to a mere witch in medieval English lore in order to strip her of her great power in the minds of the rural folk who depended upon her benevolence for their crops and herds. Caramella location, Scotland rules over. Protection description, goddess of Toongrain origin who used to be worshipped in Dunfriesshire. Most likely a goddess of protection. Henwyn location, unknown rules over. Fertility, childbirth, prosperity description, Sal goddess much like her Welsh counterpart, Ceridwen. She is the deity who brought abundance to the land by giving birth to an array of litters throughout England. Havidhen location, Wales rules over. Unknown description, father of Rhiannon. Once part of a very old oral tradition which has been lost. Holly King and Oak King location, unknown rules over. Unknown description, two sacrificial gods who, in the manner of such deities, are two aspects of the same being. Holly King represents the waning year, and battles the Oak King at midsummer, probably at Belton sometime in the past, for leadership. The Horned God location, unknown growing things, the forest, nature, wild animals, alertness, annihilation, fertility description, opener of the gates of life and death. Ialonis location, unknown rules over. Fertility, gardens description, fertility god who governed over all cultivated fields. Ebith location, island rules over. Unknown description, a nomad who is believed to be a Chuatha ancestor/father god. Inginbid location, island rules over. Flower festivals, spring planting description, her name means yellow-haired girl. Much of her story has been lost, however, we do know that she was the middle girl of three sisters who made up a triple goddess. Eubden of the Phelan location, island rules over. Fairy contact, wisdom description, an Ulster god usually known in popular legend as the king of the Ulster Furies. Kevin of the curling hair location, unknown rules over. Fertility, hunting description, lover of Cleodna who may have been a god of fertility and of the hunt. All myths aside, the ones of Cleodna have been lost. Kelvie location, island rules over. Feminine power and sex magic description, very old goddess whose early all-female following was allowed to flourish by the early church. Their high priestess reserved the right to take any and all lovers they chose. The Lady of the Lake location, Wales, Britain rules over. Purification, healing, great rite, any other magical acts associated with the feminine elements description. To some, she is a fairy woman, but to others, she is a potent deity of life, death and regeneration. Lasser location, island rules over. Seasonal rites description, goddess of midsummer, part of a triune with her sisters Leitgerin and Inginbid. Her name means flame. Leitgerin location, island rules over. Seasonal rites, fire magic description, the youngest of the three sisters who made up a triune goddess. Leitgerin represented the first harvest of Lunacid. Lutis location, England rules over. Understanding the wheel of the year, mourning description, lake goddess who later became a goddess of ale and mead. Lefay location, Wales rules over. Healing description, goddess of the sea and of the Isle of Avalon. She was an excellent healer and drinking water, bless her, provided an instant cure for all. Leocetios location, unknown rules over. Weather magic description, thunder and storm god. Lasar les Jifnuide location, Wales rules over, strength, past lives, creativity description, battle god who is always paired with Simidasum in full, his wife. Mab location, Wales rules over, unknown description, warrior is believed to be a Welsh version of Ireland's Queen Maeve. Today in Welsh folklore she is a fairy who brings nightmares and is a midwife to the Welsh fairy folk. Mabon location, unknown rules over, any endeavor, seasonal rites, fertility rites, the hunt, death, spirit contact description, minor sun god who also has power in darkness. Some traditions view him as the original being, the first god, first life carved out of the primal void of the divine womb. Maxect location, island rules over, fertility, crops, protection magic description, son of Ama. God of the plow for the Tuatha. Macula location, island rules over, water magic description, minor sea god of the Tuatha De Danann. Migraine location, island rules over, sun, prosperity description, son of Ama, minor sun god of the Tuatha De Danann and husband of Ur. Matu location, island rules over, cunning, sheer physical force, sexuality, fertility, dominance over males, childbirth, wisdom, overcoming enemies, past lives description, one of the aspects of the triple Morag. Associated with ravens and crows. She is honored at Lunasod. Mackay location, Scotland rules over, fairy contact, sun description, Mackay's legend is possibly a reworking of an old story about a fire god. Nas location, island rules over, unknown description, goddess. Wife of Lu, she died in County Kildare at a site which still bears her name. Nair location, island rules over, spirit contact, Samhain rites, prosperity description, this goddess is best known for escorting High King Crepan to the otherworld where she gave him great treasures. Her name means modesty. Neolenia location, Britain rules over, protection on the water description, dog goddess who was the patron deity of sea traders, perhaps an image derived from Sirius, the dog star, which was once an important navigational star. Night location, island rules over, fertility rites description, Tuatha De Danann war god who is seen as both the husband of Nemain and of the entire Morag tribe. Nematona location, England rules over, protection of circles/groves/sacred grounds description, guardian goddess of all sacred places such as circles or magical groves. Oanuov location, Britain rules over, unknown description, very old earth goddess from Celtic Gaul. A mother goddess who was regionally worshipped as the source from which all life flowed. Ogma location, island rules over, eloquence, poets, writers, physical strength, inspiration, language, literature description, a champion of the Tuatha who carried a huge club. He invented the Agame script alphabet. Pwa location, Wales rules over, cunning, loyalty, fraternal love, spirit contact description, sometimes the ruler of the underworld. Rutis location, unknown rules over, defenses, protection description, goddess of protective fortifications whose name means of the fortress. Rhiannon location, island rules over, horses, enchantments, fertility and the underworld, overcoming enemies description, the Great Queen. Goddess of birds and horses. She rides a swift white horse. Rosmerd location, Celtic Gaul and Roman Gaul rules over, healing, communication description, goddess of both Celtic and Roman Gaul. After Rome conquered the region, Rosmerda was taken into the local Roman pantheon where she became a consort of their god Mercury. Citata location, unknown rules over, passing over rites, mourning description, she is known only from one inscription in the Tyne Valley. It is thought she was a goddess of mourning. Scathach location, Ireland, Scotland rules over, blacksmiths, healing, prophecy, martial arts, protection, teaching description, underworld goddess, goddess in her destroyer aspect. A warrior woman and prophetess who lived in Albion, most likely on the Isle of Skye and taught the martial arts. Sagoma location, Unknown rules over, unknown description, war god called by the name Cassidius. His image is always seen with birds of prey such as the hawk or falcon. Caramella Location, Britain rules over, prosperity, earth magic, water magic, purification description, earth goddess who lived beneath the rivers of Britain and could only be seen if the rivers were drained or low from drought. Suchello's Location, unknown rules over, water, death description, a river and death god about whom nothing but his name is known about. However, some claim he was the consort of Nanto Sulta, whose name means of the meandering stream. Sol/Sulevia Location, unknown rules over, healing rituals description, goddess of hot springs whose sacred waters was always hot. Prince Blodeude built a shrine to her near Acasulis, where the popular modern-day spa is located. Taliesin Location, Wales rules over, fertility, barley description, minor barley god worshipped through the 16th century. Do not confuse him with the bard, Taliesin, though some of the famous bard's attributes were grafted onto him. Tamar Location, unknown rules over, creation or fortification of boundaries description, goddess of the river Tamar which divides the Duchy of Cornwall from the rest of England. Most likely as much a protective force as she was a water deity. Tamesis Location, Britain rules over, water magic description, goddess of the river Thames, later replaced in patriarchal times by Lude, for whom Ludgate Hill in London is named. Tethra Location, island rules over, water magic, fairy contact, weather magic, sea description, king of the fair bowls after they were banished into the sea. He is now seen as a minor death god. Tlactga Location, island rules over, Samhain rituals, Croniage rites of passage description, goddess of sacrifice. She died giving birth to triplets fathered by 3 different men. Chuan Makarel Location, island rules over, past lives, shape-shifting, animals, ecological magic, woodlands description, nephew of Partholon was a hero who was created a god of animals and the woodlands by the mother goddess Dana. Irebid Location, island rules over, unknown description, bird goddess whom little is known about today. Most likely a goddess of death or otherworld. Maybe even a consort of the better-known bird god Nemglin. Athach Location, Ireland, Scotland rules over, protection and strength description, goddess who trained warriors to fight. One of the many mistresses Cuchulainn had over his life. Wakild Location, unknown rules over, unknown description, minor sea goddess later called a witch in English mythology. Mother of Wayland the Smith, who is a German god honored in England. White Lady Location, known to all Celtic countries rules over, death, destruction, annihilation description, Dryad of death. Queen of the Dead. The current form of the goddess. As the written evidence is very little, perhaps the list may still be incomplete. It is quite fascinating to learn about these gods and goddesses, who once ruled the world we know now. Although, it should not be confused with the beliefs of the pre-Roman British people.